Hello, my name is Todd Schnick. Great to be with you today. In the 3 years since CommonWell was first announced at HIMSS 13, much has happened in regards to growing its membership, developing interoperability services, and deploying those services nationwide. Today, CommonWell services are live at more than 4,300 provider sites in all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico. Jitin Asnani is Executive Director for CommonWell Health Alliance and has much to share in regards to the success CommonWell is seeing. Jitin, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Well, happy to have you. Thanks for carving out some time. I know you're a very busy fellow, so appreciate it. Wow, that's an amazing number of provider sites live on the services, and I understand that has occurred in less than 6 months. So what have you and your deployment members learned about the interoperability needs of providers?
You know, one of my business school professors used to say that all real learning happens in the market, and that's been a major driver for this mass deployment. Not only have we very quickly built a network of considerable size that gives our providers a chance to interoperate, but we've also given ourselves a chance to understand what makes interoperability tick. We've learned a lot about what providers need and how our services are matching up. I'm very gratified to say that our 4 services that we identified early on were the right ones. That is person enrollment, patient identification and linking, record location, and data query and retrieval. Our members put a lot of their collective experience to work in building these services, and this mass deployment has helped us to both demonstrate the value, the tangible value, while identifying opportunities for improvement. Let's take record location, for example, right? Which mitigates the need to know beforehand where the patient has been. All the locations a patient has been, even the ones you did not expect as a provider, are available to you all at once. And we're learning that they really like it, and they see how it can meaningfully affect care. But we're also learning that what they need from us to make it better, how to present that data, how to organize that Google-like set of location links so there's even more usable and valuable to the clinical encounter. By the way, I should say on another point, another great key learning of this experience was the importance of building the capability to exchange health data right into the software. Which is what our members are doing. Providers are always swamped, and unless they have the data, the access to the data that they need built into the workflow that they use on a day-to-day basis, they simply won't utilize the data exchange services.
Interesting. I've heard you mention an interoperability tipping point in the past. How does that tipping point benefit providers, and how will they know that's actually happening?
You know, providers will know there's a tipping point in their community when they don't have to think twice before asking or sending information. They just do it, and they expect the system to work as intended. They won't have to ask which vendor or which system. They don't have to worry about an expensive, labor-intensive work redesign that requires their own staff or their patients to go and do some manual process. They won't even consider actually asking patients to deliver results or carry records to other providers, which is the norm today. That's what we'll know. That's when we'll know we're at the tipping point. I think this deployment effort right now is an important step because it launched nationwide cross-vendor interoperability. I mean, data exchange between providers on the same EMR should be relatively straightforward, but the U.S. is a big, diverse nation. And when lots of provider types and a plethora of different EMR vendors, none of them whom own the market, when that sort of diversity occurs, what you really need, what the industry really demands is cross-vendor interoperability. That's why our diverse membership and collective experience is so valuable to this deployment effort. At the end of the day, volume is a necessary ingredient too. You can be as diverse, but if you're not actually driving much volume, you're probably missing the mark in terms of actually enabling real-world care. And the fall 2005 deployment got that ball rolling nicely. More than 3.5 million individuals have been enrolled and uniquely identified at more than 4,300 provider sites, where services are live and available at provider fingertips. So we're starting to get closer.
Absolutely. You keep mentioning this nationwide interoperability. What exactly is the national picture today?
You know, it's a robust picture as illustrated on that new map of providers on our website. We're live in all 50 states, as well as the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, as you mentioned earlier. There's more to this map, though, than just locations for CommonWell services. That's a start. But this map tells a story. It tells a story of competing vendors willing to go the extra mile to encourage health information exchange. Think about this. Each member had to get permission from their customers, their provider customers, to list their names and locations. That way, other providers who may or may not use that same EHR, that same member vendor's EHR, can see who's live and what kind of exchange is possible in their markets. That's a big deal. There are several regions in the country where early adopters are already exchanging information throughout the community. The initial results and the near-term potential in those markets is really exciting. For example, we have, and really it's amazing that these markets are in all four corners of the U.S. Seattle and northern Arizona out west are great examples, and so are Delaware and North Carolina in the east. The creation of this map is a small ancillary service in my mind for the providers, but we won't stop there. In fact, I'd say it's really just a good start. That's why we formed the Provider Advisory Board. We're still in the early days, but we know that what an important role candid feedback and candid advice can play in creating a positive user experience for the participating providers and ultimately, of course, the patients. And we're committed to making health data exchange work for providers and patients everywhere.
Well, the map is quite impressive and very excited to see where you guys go from here. So, Jitin, we're about out of time. Before I let you go, should anyone have questions, how can they contact you?
The best way to reach me is to just contact me through the information on our website. We're very responsive. We're a small organization, and we're always happy to get feedback and to answer questions to anybody out there in the community. All
right. Jitin Asnani, Executive Director of CommonWell Health Alliance. Great to have you. Thanks for joining us, and good luck at HIMSS.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right.